Welcome. Welcome back. And thank you very much for all of the love and the support and the positives that I've been receiving. Thank you. Um, we're going to do a channeling today, and we're going to talk to John F. Kennedy. I woke up this morning and his energy was around, so I knew it was time. And so I have a little time in the afternoon to do the channeling. So he's here. And I said some prayers and kind of got grounded before starting. And he says, "Thank you. I have a report. I have some things to report." He says, and he says, "Hello and greetings to everyone." And he would like to start out by saying, we are going to discuss a little bit about the upcoming energies for the rest of the year, 2020. And he says, into the next 2 years. And he says, we're going to talk about structures, ascension, the disillusionment of things that's going on for us. And he says to expect some big understanding moments, like we've had some big moments of realization and understanding in the last 6 or 8 months for sure. And he says there will be more of those, and maybe really some comfort, a little bit of ease, possibly some more smooth days, a little bit less anxious or panicky for many of us. And he says, so what we can expect in the energy, the big system, the big worldwide system energy is the disillusionment of much distortion and things we've lived with that we didn't see, that we were blinded to, that we were unable to comprehend. And he says that will continue. So some people will call that red pilling, where we would, just like the movie The Matrix, we would take the red pill, and then all of a sudden it would take us some time to understand what was really going on instead of what we thought. So there's more of that going on. And he says the structures, the energy structures, belief systems, old matrix systems, we will be able to understand a little bit more, and they're going to fall. So, and personally, he says as well, he would like to say thank you. His heart is like shining. And he says he wants to thank all of the people, all of humanity, all of the light workers and the empaths and the teachers and the leaders, and the way showers and the gatekeepers, and the people that help nourish each other and are here heart-centered and helping one another, he says, and helping this earth, he says, evolve and ascend. And he says, thank you, because it's been brutal and thankless and painful for many of us. And he says, as we become more aware, we're going to come into our heart alignments, and piece by piece, personally and on the bigger picture, the shadow, the darkness, the old, distortions and pains and things that we've all gone through, in big ways and small ways, the enslavement that we are all in, is going to fall apart more and more. He says, so if you can just maybe not take things too personally and realize that the hand of God is really, really working overtime right now. Lots of divine interventions and help. And if you know that you know inside, follow your heart. I'm going to pull a card to see about the theme. One fell out, so I got one. Wow. The first one I got was multidimensionality. Multidimensionality. And these cards are what we would call light language. So this energy frequency will go out into your atmosphere, multidimensionality. So that will, in a way, he's saying our minds will be expanded and perceptions expanded and growing. And if you can understand that there are big systems and small systems at play, and literally the darkness or the pain or the suffering or the enslavement, the entrapment that we are all in is being undone. So that could be personally, in our personal relationships and circumstances. It could be at work, it could be at the house, it could be, it's unplugging. So we're all going to have a lot of energies continue to be released, transmuted, unplugged, and integrated into our system. So it comes back into our heart center alignment and balance. So he says there's freedom. This is the theme for the day. On all levels, all multidimensional levels, freedom. And that's what the theme of the rest of the year is. And we might see more pleasant, surprising, good outcomes and results. And he says, remember, always when there are elections going on and things going on in the atmosphere, and he's talking about things like COVID and things like that, where it was almost an attempt to get us all in a lull, to unplug us from the bigger, it's like the big monster, the big devil, the darkness. And he says, many of us are waking up, our eyes are opening more and more and more every day to the truth that it's just time to come into this new age of freedom, and where we are cohesive, coherent, equal friendships, equal people. And it's almost like we had a great flood in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, like in the Great Flood. And he says it just didn't have to be with actual physical water, but the Great Flood was coming in. So we were all in our different emotions and thoughts, and some of our old belief systems were falling away, he says, and rinsing away some of that heavy stuff. He says, you can never understand if you think you know for somebody else or someone else's circumstances, you cannot. So the Great Flood is coming in, and it's like, sometimes it's like, imagine the floods on the TV, and you see a big tree flying by, and someone's filming from a higher floor and watching a car go by and debris. And he's saying that that's been the first half of 2020, where we thought it would be easy and smoother. He says this is the process that we will continue to go through. We might not take anything personally and realize that it will all be worth it. And he says the panic and anxiety in the air is part of the collective consciousness is being swept away. So just know that good things are happening, good awakenings are happening, and humanity is kind of coming together into like a collective consciousness mind. It is similar. We're learning. It is similar to heaven on earth. We're not quite there yet, but we're coming into that heaven on earth, I call it heaven in earth stage. And in that space, nothing dark can come. They're not worried about demons and bad people and people stealing or manipulating them or harming others, because it doesn't belong there. So that's what we're going to build in this new era. And he says many of the systems are falling, and it's shocking and it's exhausting. And he says that will continue, but if you know not to take it personally and stay heart-centered, many of you are going to have surprising good answers and be aligned, with your dreams coming true and your right people and right places and understandings. And he says, so don't give up. It is worth it. And thank you all for your service. Thank you all for your service. And he says it's kind of like the calming after the storm of the Great Flood. So we're all going, hey, do I know you? Do I belong with you? Do I understand? And we say, thank you for the rinsing clean of some of the things that were enslaving us, he says. And he says, it's time to build your dreams and be yourself. So let yourself shine on. And he says, there's no need for, excuses or the doubts or fears that show up to cause us any more blockage in some ways, like many layers of the heaviness of everything that humanity's been through has been shifted and moved. So again, he says thank you to all the people that are here. We came here on purpose in this ascension time. And he says ascension just means, again, evolution and change. Like we are here to create and build, create with God and the divine, a new heaven on earth for this place and our people and our children and grandchildren. He says, watch, many of them already don't have they don't have the same heaviness or belief systems hooked up in them. They're already much more free, the little ones, the younger people sometimes. And many surprises and good things, dreams come true. Part of our heart alignment, he says, in the big mass consciousness collective is that we will start going out of nowhere. We'll go, oh, that's the answer. So for 14,000 years, we've been arguing about this one thing and mad at each other and at warring with each other. And then we realized, oh, well, the answer is real simple. Like we didn't need war. We didn't need to hurt each other. We didn't need to hate each other or be separate. And he says, although there's a different kind of separation, there's kind of two worlds going on, two polarities. The people that have possibly chosen the darkness or continuing to be in those negative cycles are going to be separated from the ones that have the good intention. So it'll be really easy to see. That will continue. Safe. You're safer than you think. All the energy workers, frequency people, spiritual based people. He says nobody really thinks you're crazy. So thank you for your service, he says. I have that all the time. People say, if I was told that, people would think I'm crazy. I'm like, are you kidding? This is for the person who's had this job for 30 years. Not so much. I'm going to pull another card from another deck and see if there's anything else to this theme. He's really he's wanting to bring in the light of God to really recharge our hearts. It's like we're all very tired. We're all brutally beaten through these last processes. I gotta say, I've had a few days. He says, reach out and nurture each other, tell a story. So I just, in one of my meditations, I was like, okay, Soul Tribe, I'm tired. I really want a hug, is what I kept saying. And for 4 or 5 days, people end up coming in at appointments, would mention something, or I got texts from all over from really some of my favorite people. And so my Soul Tribe kind of was like, hey, we're listening. We've got your back. So there are many things he wants to say, many divine things going on that we are not aware of, that we can't see physically, and to expect some good blessings and surprises. I don't think as he's saying, expect some good blessings and surprises in each of our lives, each person. And even though some of the light workers are not used to receiving very well, they're laughing at me. There's a lot of love coming in, and there will be, dreams coming true, and the right things happening around us. And he says, so expect a better second half of the year continuing. I got the card Delight. And the number 19 adds up to 10 or 1, 0. So that would be kind of new beginnings. And he says the energy shift. Watch the energies go from overwhelming pain, fear, suffering, confusion, self-doubts to pieces of delight and joy and inspiration and creativity, really immersing in our everyday life. Really immersing in there. So the Delight card says, the frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. Thank God. I thought I was going to be stuck in survival mode and shut down for the last couple of years. I have been a little bit really shut down survival mode. Although I had love and joy and happiness, and I felt a lot of love and joy and happiness and pieces. It was not easy, and I'm pretty sure that's true for every single person on the entire planet. And the shakeups and the confusion and everyone's lives just being broken open. So the finishing of this card says, the more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. So expect some new energies, some lighter energies that'll be a whole lot happier for us. And he's saying, remember, there are many around us, many people around us that are in support of us. And we were going to start recognizing that more and more. He says, as soon as those elections or time period is over, we can also just breathe, because some of it's just, he's saying it's distortion. Everything's distortion. Don't take things too personally. If someone else is doing something, you're pointing at you or trying to hurt you on purpose or being crazy, like on TV, like politician type things. He says, because it's falling apart, and watch it. It's almost like a tire that goes flat and it goes